Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 81. Can you believe we've done 81 episodes? I can't, but I want to welcome the new members who are just joining me for the first time, and I want to welcome back the members who've been joining me from the beginning. Your support is greatly appreciated. So before we get into it, I want you guys to hit the thumbs up button and like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. So, like I said, we got a lot to get into, and I know it seems like not a lot's been going on because we just had the Stanley Cup champions crowned, but now we have the NBA champions crowned, and got an NBA trade to get into. We've got some football news, and we've got a UFC retirement, plus we've got our What We're Listening To segment, which is a really good segment in my opinion. So let's jump into it. So first off, let's talk about Travis Hunter. He was the second overall pick in this year's draft. Jacksonville signed him. Phenomenal player back in college. I think he's going to be a great addition to the Jaguars, and the Jaguars need, all the help they can get because they really haven't been relevant in years. In fact, the last time they were relevant, David Garrard was quarterback, and Tim Tebow was quarterback at that time. And Jacksonville made it to the playoffs, made it into the, I think it was the championship game, because that was the year that Jacksonville and Tennessee both did really good, and that's when I started paying attention to both of them. And now Tennessee's been one of my favorite teams, and I've still paid attention to Jacksonville, but not like I have been. And that might have been David Garrard now that I think about it. But anyway, Travis Hunter signed a $46.5 million deal with the Jaguars, and the Jaguars said that he was going to be a dual threat on the team. And, I hear you guys out there already. Well, Peter, what's a dual threat? Well, that means he can play offense and defense. So I think that's great. And like I said, Jacksonville needs all the help they can get. I think they've got all the promise in the world. But I think there's a little piece missing. I can't figure out what that piece is, because to me they've got the quarterback. It might be the coach, because I think I see a lot of promise in the quarterback. They've got the wide receivers. Kind of wish they hadn't let go Christian Kirk and sent him to Houston, but that happens every year. There's always these surprise free agent signings and cuts, and this year to me Christian Kirk was one that was surprising that Jacksonville let go, but they were making room for Travis Hunter, I believe. So I'm paying attention to Jacksonville this year, see how they do with Travis Hunter, and we'll go from there. Next, I know y'all get sick of hearing me talk about him, but we're going to talk about Tom Brady and Sam Darnold. Well, why are you putting those two in the same sentence, Peter? Bear with me, I'll tell you why. Tom Brady is the minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Sam Darnold just signed, I believe it was a 4-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Well, since Sam Darnold did so good last year, and everybody thought he was the top free agent this year, which, don't ask me, don't know why, the Raiders were on the radar for him to go. I know, radar is Raider. But I read yesterday Tom Brady did not want Sam Darnold on his team. And it read, Tom Brady did not want the Las Vegas Raiders to sign Sam Darnold in free agency. While some believe the Las Vegas Raiders would try to sign Darnold, minority owner Tom Brady, a 7-time Super Bowl winning quarterback who knows his stuff and knows what he's talking about, that's why he's called the GOAT, whose opinion held great sway, was not in favor of that approach. So, Darnold goes to Seattle, and do y'all remember who the Raiders got? That's right. Seattle traded Geno Smith to the Raiders to make room for Darnold. So, like I said, we'll see how this circus goes in Seattle with Sam Darnold. Was last year just a one-time thing for Sam, or can he repeat? Y'all know my opinion, and y'all know that I think it was just a one and done for him. I think that was the best we're going to see him do, and that's it. But we'll see. He might surprise me. Who knows? But moving on, I'm sorry that I have to do this to you guys, but it's another week and another Aaron Rodgers headline. I know I hate it just as much as you guys do. But this time might be good for us. This time, this headline is a good one. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show this afternoon, and as he is every Tuesday. And Aaron said that this was going to be his last year. That's why he signed the 1-year deal. And I'm seeing where it is his last season. And then I'm hearing where this could be his last season. I'm going with this is his last season. He's put the league through so much crap in the past 20-odd years that he's been playing. And to sit and think about it for a little bit, Tom Brady played for 23 seasons. He played for 2 teams and won Super Bowls with both teams. 6 with the Patriots, 1 with Tampa Bay. And we'll get to a little, Super Bowl Tampa Bay New England thing here in a few minutes. Aaron has been with, this is his 3rd team. He was with Green Bay for 18 years. And then he goes and signs a 2-year deal with the Jets. Don't ask me why. Well, we all know why. He was following in Brett Favre's footsteps, which is another one who should have just known when to pack it in. But then Aaron went to the Jets and signed a 2-year deal. Thought that was going to be it. That first year we only got like 4 plays out of Aaron. Tore his Achilles and he was gone for the season. Last season we got to see what Aaron can do, but here's the funny thing. The numbers that Aaron put up last year were the same numbers that the Jets put up under Zach Wilson the year before when Aaron tore his Achilles. So Aaron really isn't that next level quarterback that everybody thinks he is. He's won 1 Super Bowl back in 2010 against, here's the funny thing, football fans know who Green Bay won their Super Bowl against and how Aaron got that ring. And who was it? That's right, y'all. Aaron won the Super Bowl with Green Bay playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that all these years later, Aaron would play for the team that he beat to get his Super Bowl? So, as I said last week or the week before, Aaron stopped the Steelers from winning the Super Bowl back in 2010. And now, 15 years later, he's doing it again in a completely different way. He is stopping them because he's not the quarterback they think he is. And this, I hope, he is not going to be Mike Tomlin's demise. And I know if this is head spinning because, Peter, you don't like the Steelers. Why are you sticking up for Tomlin? Tomlin, really didn't get to me as bad last year, but I still don't like the Steelers. Still will never like the Steelers. And now that Aaron is with them, I won't like them tenfold now. So that was all for some football news. So now let's move into this UFC retirement. So UFC undisputed heavyweight champion Jon Jones retires from UFC after I believe it was 15 years in the sport. He won a few things about him. He won the MMA lightweight champion, and he held that championship from 2011 to 2015, and then again from 2018 to 2020. He also won the UFC heavyweight championship in 2023 and held it until 2025. And so all these pay-per-views they were doing about UFC Fight Night Saturday night, and it was the heavyweight champ. Jon Jones was the one they were talking about. In 2025, he ranked number 3 in pound-for-pound ranking, which is amazing. He became the youngest champion in UFC history at the age of 23, and he's the only fighter to beat 5. That's right, I said 5 former UFC champions. Now, I put him as the greatest after reading all that. I put him in as one of the greatest of all time. But to look back on the sport, they said that Chuck Liddell is the greatest of all time, and I would agree. Chuck is really good, but it seems like it's going to be Chuck and then Jon Jones. So, John, let's see what you do in the sport. We might even see you on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and I will definitely watch that because I'm a Joe Rogan podcast fan. And Joe Rogan already knows you because Joe is a commentator for the UFC. So, congratulations on a fantastic career, John. Can't wait to see what you do in retirement. And we'll follow you. Moving on, we're going to talk about some NBA news. Now, yes, I know the NBA championship was crowned, and we're going to get to that in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about the Suns, the Rockets, and Kevin Durant. Now, how do all these match up with each other, Peter? I'll tell you. The Suns traded Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in tomorrow's NBA draft and 5 second-round NBA picks. Sounds like a good trade. I think the Rockets got the better end of that deal because Kevin Durant this will be his 5th team of his career. He had stints with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Warriors, the Nets, and the Suns. And this is his 5th team in the Rockets. With his trade to the Rockets, that means the old Thunder Big Three are back together in Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. All 3 played together with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the 09-010 season, and that was a season they said Oklahoma should have won a champion. Now, Oklahoma didn't get, here's a little fact I didn't know until Sunday night. Oklahoma didn't get their basketball team until 2008. So, Kevin Durant was he was one of the inaugural players for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's where I got to realize, because he came out, he was, really good, and they had the Big Three. All teams have this Big Three, like Boston had Ray Rice, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. The Thunder had Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. The Warriors had Curry, Draymond Green, and that third name is escaping me right now. But, all these teams have a big three in basketball. So right now, I put the Houston Rockets as a favorite, and I know it's early because we just finished the NBA season on Sunday night, but I believe that Houston will do really good next season, and let's hope maybe Houston will actually win a championship next year. We'll see. A story that I want to talk about that I should have talked about last week that I didn't, and that was my fault. The Lakers were sold. The LA Lakers, get this, y'all. The LA Lakers were sold to the LA Dodgers owner for $10 billion. The LA Dodgers owner bought the LA Lakers for $10 billion. When the Lakers were bought before, it was only like $763,000 that they bought them for. Or $763,000. Here we are with $10 billion. But there's a reason I bring this up. No, I'm not a Lakers fan. Don't worry, not a Lakers fan. After the Lakers got bought, they came out and said, we're not building the team around LeBron James. We're building the team around Luka. Why did Dallas trade for Luka if they didn't want to build a team around him? They wanted to, those previous owners, in my opinion, wanted it to be LeBron and Luka, and then that just be it. Those be the two, and then just go from there. No. The Lakers said, no, we're not building around LeBron. We're building around Luka, which means here in the next few weeks or so, I bet you we hear that LeBron has been cut from the Lakers, which means they need to cut LeBron's son, because I have a feeling wherever LeBron goes, his son's going to want to follow him because LeBron's going to want that. This is one reason I don't like LeBron. Yeah, he might be a great player, but he's no Michael Jordan. He's no, he is no Michael Jordan. So stop crowning him like he's the next Michael, like he's as good as Michael. He's good, but he's not that good in my opinion. And the rings that he got, in my opinion, were given to him. I know I'm going to get some backlash for that, but that's what I think. So, moving on, we're going to talk about, since we don't have any UFL news or scores to talk about, I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about the top 3 Super Bowls of all time, in my opinion. And this is strictly speculatory. So, in the comments, who are y'all's favorite? What are y'all's top 3 Super Bowls of all time? And let's go back 10 years. Let's not go back. Let's go back about 10 years. For the last 10 years, who's y'all's top 3 favorite Super Bowls? In mine, we're going to start at 2014. Super Bowl 49 between the Patriots and the Seahawks. The Patriots defeated the Seahawks 28-24. Now, that was a good one, and that was memorable because 2 reasons. Well, more than 2. We're going to say 3 right now. This was Seattle's second time in the Super Bowl in back-to-back years. They went in Super Bowl 48 and beat Denver. And that was a good one, but that was 11 years, and we're going back 10 years. Y'all need to go back and watch that Super Bowl 48 between Seattle and Denver. It was Peyton Manning at quarterback, and Peyton thought he could just go out there and change the play on the first play of the game. So what did they do? What did he do? He went out there and he changed the play. And what happened? Nobody knew what was going on but him. That ball goes over his head. Seattle ends up winning the Super Bowl, 48-8. The next year, Seattle has a great year, goes and plays the Patriots, and everybody thought, well, he beat Peyton Manning, he's going to go beat Tom Brady. No. Number one, Seattle was second year in the Super Bowl, trying to make them the dynasty the Patriots were. Didn't happen. Second, the end of the game. If y'all saw the game, y'all remember this. For y'all that haven't, y'all need to go back and look at these highlights, but I'm going to tell you what happened. They're down. The Patriots are down. Like 24-21. They need a touchdown to win the game. Seattle is down in scoring range. All Seattle had to do was run the clock out. This is like the tuck rule. Do you hand the ball to Marshawn? Do you throw the ball? Back in the day, the tuck rule was his arm going forward, and that was the Patriots Oakland Raiders playoff game. And that's a lot of reason people don't like the Patriots to this day. But getting a little sidetracked here. Anyway, Seattle's down at the goal line, 1 yard line, and looking at the tape, you hear the coordinator on the sideline, Brian Flores, say, "Malcolm," talk about Malcolm Butler, flags him out. Malcolm Butler's rookie year. Does this, says, "Malcolm," and flags him over, tells him to get out on the field. Malcolm Butler gets out on the field. Russell Wilson throws that ball in the end zone. Malcolm Butler catches the ball, and Patriots win the game. In fact, now that I think about it, the Patriots were ahead, and Seattle needed that touchdown to win the game. And all they had to do to win was hand it to Marshawn. That's what happened. Malcolm Butler caught the intercepted the ball from Russell Wilson, and that was the end of the game. So, do we hand it to Marshawn or do we throw it? Russell threw it, and that's what happened. And that's one thing I remember. The other thing I remember is after the game, Pete Carroll just flipped his headset back and just put his hands down and shook his head like, this is unbelievable. But that was my first one. My second one was 2017, Super Bowl 51, and the Patriots-Falcons. In fact, I would put that, as the greatest right now of all time. That was where the Falcons were ahead 28-3 at halftime. In the second half, in fact, I would say the last 5 minutes of the game, the Patriots come out and they score. They go first down, score. 2-point conversion. And you're right, I don't like 2-point conversions at all. I think they ought to outlaw the 2-point conversions because more often than not, they never work. But the Patriots ended up beating the Falcons 34-28 in overtime. So not only did the Patriots have the greatest comeback of all time, it was also a first Super Bowl to go into overtime. And Julian Edelman caught the ball when he was like this. It was unbelievable. He got caught he jumped up, Falcons, hit him, so he dove, and he grabbed the ball when he was diagonal. Ball never touched the ground. He even did this and clapped his hands back together to get his momentum right. And, that was in the second half of that game, and it was just phenomenal, y'all. Y'all need to go back and watch that game. In fact, had me worried all game because I'm like, why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all doing this? But in the end, it just shows the greatness of Tom Brady. So that's the next one. My last one, my third one, is in 2021, and that was when the Buccaneers defeated the Chiefs 33-1. That was Tom Brady's first season with the Buccaneers. And what was so great about that is Tampa Bay went on the road and beat every single team on the road that year. The only home game they had that season was the Super Bowl. because they played that Super Bowl in Raymond James Stadium. So, and then, the next year they had the Rams play the Bengals in the Rams home stadium, so they couldn't let Tampa Bay and Tom have that. But I think, honestly, when, as much I've thought about this, I've thought, why did Tom leave the Patriots? Why did he leave the Patriots? And he just wasn't happy there. He goes to the Bucs his first season, wins the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 55 that the Buccaneers won. And this was actually the Buccaneers' first Super Bowl in like 20-some years. The last time they won the Super Bowl was against Oakland when John Gruden was the coach of the Bucs. This was Bruce Arians. This was Tom Brady. This was Rob Gronkowski in this Super Bowl. And they beat the Chiefs, who, was the start of their dynasty. Dynasty. I put that in quotes because they're not a dynasty, because the Chiefs get the refs' help. But y'all all know this. Y'all can go back and look at other videos that I've done. That's why I call them the Cheating Chiefs. And I know I've got some Chief fans out there that are going to get me for that. But that's how I see it. They're the Cheating Chiefs. I mean, people don't like the Patriots and the Cowboys, but, now it's the Chiefs' turn. So those are my top 3 Super Bowls in the last 10 years. My favorites in the last 10. Who's y'all's favorite? Drop them in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Moving on, before we get into the NBA playoff scores, LSU wins the College World Series, defeating Coastal Carolina 5-3 on Sunday. They swept Coastal Carolina, and this is like their second title in team history. So congratulations to the LSU Tigers for winning the Little League World Series. No, the College World Series. That's right. 5-3. So we'll keep an eye on you guys. And Coastal Carolina, you got nothing to hold your head about. Y'all made it to the College World Series. Y'all will be back. Moving on to the NBA playoffs. On Thursday, we had the Pacers defeat the Thunder 108-91 to tie that series at 3 games apiece. Now, this is Game 6 is where I said I thought the champion was going to be crowned, and I picked the Thunder to win. But no, we had to go into a Game 7 because the Thunder were ahead 3-2. Had the Thunder won on Thursday, it'd be done. But we had to push it to Sunday night, and the Thunder defeated the Pacers 103-91. The Thunder win the series 4-3, and it's the first championship since the team moved to Oklahoma in 2008, as I said earlier. I'm just going to do the initials here. SGA, Shia Gilgeous-Alexander wins the Finals MVP, and this is the first time a player has won the all-time scoring for the season and the Finals MVP. So, congratulations to the Thunder, but I want to say this, that it makes, for the last 7 years in the NBA, we have had, in the NBA and the MLB, actually, no, just the NBA, we've had a different champion for the past 7 years. So, it was Oklahoma this year, Boston the year before, and then we had the Denver Nuggets. We had the Golden State Warriors before the Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Lakers, and the Toronto Raptors. So you can go back and you can look at the MLB, NHL, and NFL, and people like the Chiefs won 3 years in the past 7 seasons. LA won twice. The two of the Florida teams, the Lightning and the Panthers, both won the Stanley Cup, 2 years back to back. So that's pretty impressive to think Out of the 4 major sports, the last 7 champions for the NBA have all been a different champion. That's pretty wild. So congratulations to you, Thunder. Y'all deserve it. In fact, I saw that you guys only won like 24 games last year. So to go from winning 24 games to being the NBA Finals champ, congratulations to you guys. I'll definitely be following the Thunder next year. I've actually followed the Thunder for a good little while. So let's hope y'all can keep it up, and maybe next year y'all can repeat. Who knows? But moving on to golf, we had Keenan Bradley win the Travelers Championship up in Connecticut at 15 under, and Russell Henley came in tied for second at 14 under. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do you tie for second place in golf? Well, you have the same 18 holes that y'all play for 4 days. At the end of those 4 days, they play them. They've come up with everything. So Russell Henley and like 3 other people were tied for second, had 14 under, and that's how they tied for second. When their round ended, they ended at 14 under. It wasn't like 2, 3, 4, 5. And they do have it like that, but it was Keenan Bradley at 15 under, the only person. And if somebody else had been 15 under, they would have played playoff holes, which we've talked about in the past. Russell Henley had 14 under and then 3 other people under him. So he was one of 4. So it was tied for second. Then all those others were tied for second. And then there was third. So congratulations to you, Keenan. We'll pay attention to you. We'll see how you do next week. And, we'll have some golf stuff next week. But moving on to some music news. 3 Days Grace released their new single, Dominant, from their new album. It's actually out August 22nd. Dominant is actually the second single from the album. The first single was called Apologize, and it's really good. Dominant is really good. And this record is their first record with former vocalist Adam Gontier after he rejoined them. And 3 Days Grace is going on tour with Breaking Benjamin. So get out there, see that concert. I know I'm going to. I bought tickets to that concert. Can't wait. So go out, see the concert, hear the music, enjoy the music. And speaking of Breaking Benjamin, they celebrated their Dark Before Dawn album, which was their last full-length album. Celebrated their 10th anniversary. So that's hard to believe that it's been 10 years and it's been 10 years, but then they released singles from it. So when Breaking Benjamin released their song Awake last year, it was the first new single in 7 years. So they had Dark Before Dawn celebrate 10 years, but then they had Aurora that was like an acoustic album, and that was really good, but it wasn't full length. It had like 12 songs, but it was an acoustic one, so they didn't really consider it album. But it was their first. Awake was the first new single in 7 years. And no, I'm sorry, Ember was their last album. Dark Before Dawn was their comeback album. So that's how it was the way it was. So now Ember's the next one to have a 10-year anniversary. And Ember's just as good as Dark Before Dawn. In fact, all their music is good. But, so congratulations to Breaking Benjamin on celebrating 10 years of Dark Before Dawn. That's a great album. If you've got that album, if you got it on Spotify, listen to it, jam out to it, and just enjoy it, y'all. Moving on, we're going to talk to the What We're Listening To segment. We're listening to Garth Brooks. He's a country artist from Oklahoma. He started singing in 1985. I found out about him around 1995. His debut album was self-titled. He's had 16 studio albums, 76 singles, 20 number ones, 25 music videos, 4 compilation albums, 2 live albums, and his new album was Time Traveler back in 2023, which I've never heard of. And I pay attention to country music, and especially the older country music of the 90s, 80s and the 90s. Because today's country isn't really country. Yeah, I like Jason. I like all that. And they're new, and Blake, and they're newer country. And Blake and Jason are my top 2 favorites. But you can't beat a 90s country song and a 90s country record. You just can't do it. So I've never heard of Time Traveler, but I'm kind of curious to listen to it. My favorite one is of my favorite album of Garth's is actually the Ultimate Hits. It's a 2-disc set, but it's 3 DVDs. It's 3 discs because they've got 2 discs for greatest hits and then a DVD of videos from the CDs, which I think is good because out of, 25 music videos, there's probably 25 to 30 videos on there, and they're counting live videos as music videos because those are videos too. So in the what song we're listening to, I want you guys to listen to the Ultimate Hits. And y'all, you can just put it on and be doing something. I know it's a lot of songs, a 2-disc or a lot of songs, but I want you guys to listen to it and let me know what you guys think. Before we go, I just got some NBA trade alert that the Pelicans are trading C.J. McCollum and Kelly Olynyk, is what I'm going to say, for future second-round picks to the Wizards for Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the number 40 pick. So, they're trading because the NBA draft is tomorrow night, does Wednesday, Thursday, so they're doing drafts. So that just came across the wire, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, hit the thumbs up button and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and share this out. I hope you guys enjoyed going the distance with me this week. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the week. A great weekend, and we will be back next week. God bless.